Hello? Hello? Is this thing on?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Nice
I
to see
can't
you
I
again.
can't hear the music, which is a bit weird. But
You want me to play the music?
yeah, I like the music calms me down, ready to begin the meet. It's just because it's usually a command and conquer style, and I don't know what that's how I start. Come on,
I,
man.
sh- I, sh-
I've been doing this
I
long
should.
enough.
Sorry, I should have unmuted it so you would have known, but I was too busy fiddling around with audio settings. But never mind. Here we are.
Okay, here we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the London Furs meet number 342.
You got that instead.
This is, of course, the online edition. The online edition. And yeah, it's lovely to see so many people in the Discord chat today, as well as oh, there we go. There we go, a little bit of beats. As well as on the live stream via our website and also on YouTube. If you have any questions throughout this live session, do pop them in the chat, particularly for our guest interview. Following the guest interview, I'll be jumping in a voice chat as well, just to go over any questions anyone has, particularly regarding meet announcements, etc. So if you want to talk the talk, we can do so after the live session here. If it's your first time in the London Furs online meet, I'll just run through what we tend to do schedule-wise. As you'll notice, you won't be able to chat in this room, but chat is in voice chat. But of course, you can chat in the text chat. So please do. We do keep an eye on the text chat here. So yeah, keep on chucking stuff down into the chat. We do like seeing everyone's reactions to things. We will go through the start of the meet, which tends to be just a bit of a catch up, and obviously go through announcements and things. Today obviously is a big one because we wanted to talk about our plans in regard to COVID and to the first physical meet we're doing since the lockdown and stuff happened. So do stick around for that, and we'll have a bit of a staff catch up as well. We've got of course LondonFurs always here without a doubt. We've also got Bav, Latimer and Atlas Fox here as well, so we'll have a little catch up with them all. And following that, we have a very special guest, Mr. Fnook, who is an amazing animator, and we will be getting into a nice deep interview with Lord Fnook. I'm going to call you Lord Fnook from now on. I don't know why, just sounds nice. And yeah, following that, like I said, we'll be jumping into the voice chat rooms. The games rooms will open, and then there's obviously the VR chat hangout from 9 p.m. We'll post a link in on the Discord. So if you want to join in on VR chat, you're more than welcome to do so. Yeah, it's that's kind of how our online meets run. So like I said, it's lovely to see so many people in the chat today. Obviously, the last online meet we announced that our plans are to start up the physical London Fur meets again, which is something we will be doing in 3 weeks' time. The meets are returning back to Tank and Paddle, which is our new home now, really, and it's something that we were very concerned about. Obviously, when lockdown came in, we were thinking, will Tank and Paddle survive throughout the lockdown? But we've been reassured by them throughout. We've been talking throughout the year, trying to reorganize meets and events with them, including trying to do a test event with our venue to support them, but also just to try and get things back up and running. And obviously, the way things have developed throughout the year and a bit, it's not been safe enough, we've felt, for things to kind of really resume. So there's been a lot of process and a lot of conversations, and the two bits of good news are the venue are very happy to have us back, one, and two, it's the same staff that were at the venue when we were doing meets at the beginning of 2020 and the end of 2019. So they know who we are, they know what we do, what we like to do, and they're super keen to have us back. Now, it was actually, we had this day, the 7th of August, penciled as the first meet of the year. Of the year
Yeah.
of 2021 to come back and do a physical meet. But we kind of wanted to sit back and wait for another 3 weeks just to see how things developed. And obviously, this will be the same stance we take leading up into the 28th. Come Saturday 21st, we will make a full decision whether we're going ahead with the physical meet. And obviously, if there's any sort of disaster or any thing that we don't feel good about, we will change and reschedule for 3 weeks afterwards. Our plans are to continue with the tri-weekly meets like we used to do. So come Saturday 28th, we will be doing another meet 3 weeks later, which would be September 18th, and then October 9th, October 30th, November 20th, and then looking to have a Christmas party on the 11th of December. So put that one down in your diaries.
We're all going around Annie's house.
Yeah, we're all coming round to mine.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a nice big Christmas tree, lots of presents. Just hand them out. Give them away. Giving them all away. But yeah, that's the plan. And I mean, it's taken a long time for us to get into this position where we're feeling confident, and the venue as well are feeling confident about us coming back physically as meets. And we've had a lot of discussions about how we're going to do this in the most safe way for everyone involved. Now, I will ask Lucifer to work some magic and open up the webpage that we've designed for the meets coming back. This page is available at londonfurs.org.uk/meets/resume. And yeah, I just want to go over what the plans are really. So we've already announced the date, the 28th of August 2021. London Furs is back. We are at the Tank and Paddle. The meet times are from midday until 7 p.m. If you're arriving early, just be conscious that the meet will not be open until midday. There's no rush to get there early, but you know, people do tend to arrive early. So yeah, we won't be open till midday, so try not to get there too early. Please read these instructions carefully and ensure you understand what you need to do before attending.
Don't read it out. Don't read it out.
Don't read it out. Okay, I won't read it out.
It's like going to a PowerPoint presentation and then watching somebody read out presentation.
So basically, I will categorize what we're doing here. We are asking everyone that are coming to the meets to provide proof of a negative COVID test within 24 hours of the meet's advertised start time. The simplest way to do this is with a lateral flow test, which are obviously available free of charge currently. You can get them from pharmacies or via the NHS website. Just Google LFT, free LFT, and they'll deliver them to you. You need to self-report your results, and that result will get sent to the government, and they'll send you an email and a text back. Now, we need you on the day to provide that email and text to get into the venue. Obviously, when traveling to the venue, make sure you wear a face covering and minimize contact with as many people as possible. It is what it is. Just arrive safely. If you're coming to the meet, what we're trying to ask people to do is not go out clubbing the night before and then rock up to the meet as you might have done previously. Do focus on making the meet your one thing that you're attending for the day. It goes without saying not attending if you're feeling unwell. Like I said 3 weeks ago, I caught COVID, and COVID, it started for me with a runny nose. That's how small a symptom it started with, and 2 days later I was fully, in bed dying away. So please listen to your bodies, check your temperature. If you're not feeling quite right about it, don't feel pressured to go. Like I said, our plan is to keep the meets going. We'll be wanting to do these every 3 weeks. It's super important if you're not feeling, even if you're not feeling confident about this meet, don't feel like you're missing out by not being there. What we are saying is when you get to the meet, the first thing you should be doing is going straight to the front doors and checking in with the venue security. They'll be checking for your negative test. Please ensure you go there first before coming into the venue and before hanging around outside, etc. As normal, the meets are still a free event. So yeah, it's not a ticketed event. We're just asking you to turn up as normal. While at the event, obviously be conscious of others. People will not be comfortable with hugging and things like this, and just be very respectful of each other. Just be careful, and it might be the first time you've been out in a long time, so if you're drinking and stuff, just try not to overdrink. It's just being sensible, really. And the one thing we are asking of people is to wear a mask when you're indoors if you're not drinking or eating. This is purely because it's for the safety of other people. One thing we do want to stress is, as much as it's great to be coming back, there is a risk obviously coming to our event. There's a lot of people in a small area, and we're just trying to do the most amount that we can to ensure that everyone there is as safe as possible. Wearing a mask is going to help with that, so please do it. And if you're not wearing a mask and you're running around the meets, you'll be asked to put one on. The most important thing for us is we want to keep the meets coming back as a continuous thing, and we want to do it in the safest possible way, and we feel like this is the most sensible way to do it all. There's been a lot of talks on double vaccinations and stuff, and a lot of policies that have been brought in by other events, be that music events or other furry events in regards to vaccinations. Our preference is everyone is vaccinated or double vaccinated before coming to the event. We understand that might not be fully possible. The thing that is 100% needs to happen to come to our events is to ensure you have taken a test and it's a negative test. That is what we are asking 100% everyone coming to the LondonFurs meet to have as evidence. And yeah, we're super excited to be getting everyone back, and I can't stress enough, it's about keeping each other safe and doing it in the safest possible way. Just respect and love each other, and that's what's key. What I'd love to happen is, come the end of the meet, us as a community is setting an example about how we can return to things getting back to normal. We're not fully there yet, and we fully understand and respect that. Hence why we're putting all these rules in place. So yeah, that's it really. Like I said, if you want to have a chat with me directly about anything, if you have any concerns or any sort of questions in regard to our COVID policy moving forwards with all meets, I'll be jumping in the voice chat at the end of our interview section. So yeah, thank you for listening in there, and that's the sort of main bit of news prior to our setup. So now we've got the business stuff done and dusted. Let's see how our staff are doing. Yoo-hoo! We back, baby. Lupus Fur, how are you, mate?
I'm alright.
Lupus the magic fur. That's what I called you last time, wasn't it? It's,
oh yeah.
The magic. All these graphics, the website, the design, and everything is just
magic.
Not the design. Yeah, it's magic.
No, I don't do the design. I do everything else.
And I have to say, actually, I meant to say, there's been a lot of work that's been put into the COVID protocols and rules, from the writing of them, the editing of them, the website, the design, the whole look of things. And it's credit to the LondonFurs team. Thank you all for all the efforts you put into doing it, and that includes you, Lupus Fur, of course. Thank you.
Sorry.
But yeah. I won't badger on about it anymore.
Yeah. So how's my last 3 weeks?
Yeah. Gone.
I will talk about everything except work, because work is not what I want
Good.
to talk about, because that
Yeah.
is just
Let's not talk about that. Yeah.
shite. Yes, things I've done recently. Bought some new windows.
Nice.
Not Windows 10, not Windows 11. Actual windows in the house.
Physical windows.
Yes.
Expensive as fuck, aren't
Yes. So got some
Let's
new
not
ones
go
in the
there.
bathroom. New ones in the kitchen. It's great.
they? Lovely. Lovely.
No more drafts, because you don't want drafts. When you're standing there in your birthday suit, having a nice shower, and then you get out the shower, and then there's like a -10 wind blowing through the window. That's not
Chilly
exactly
willy.
what you want. Yeah.
none of
So there's that. I've spent lots of money at Dell. So I can buy a new gaming PC. I bought one of those
Sweet.
really energy inefficient gaming PCs from Dell, if you saw the news about that recently. One of those Alienware
Okay.
R10s. It's supposed to arrive in September, but we'll see. Because
It's like waiting for a fursuit, isn't it? You spend all that money and you wait, buddy.
I might be
Years.
inclined to say it's a little bit more useful than a fursuit, but yes, okay.
Hold on.
Hold on. What am I saying? Jesus. Yeah, so there's that.
Nice.
Been on a few walks, just because you can do walks these days, which with legs are quite useful.
Lovely.
And yeah, just panicking about work. Other than that, which I said I would not mention, so I'm not going to mention it any further. There we go.
Nice. Well, it's good. It is good to catch up. It is good to catch up. Walking is. I went on a big walk the other day actually, and I was bloody knackered at the end of it.
It's hard
more
work.
so than when I do like sport. Yeah. More so than when I do in sport. I won't bore you with the details.
They say a good
Bev.
walk is just as energetic as a run round the block, but
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it was nice, but yeah, I was a bit like, Christ, I'm tired. Bav, how are you, buddy?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Nice. What's been going on the past 3 weeks?
Oh, the usual.
Wow.
Well, as same with the lupus, I won't talk about work because that's just same old. But yeah, I'm just still keeping up with the streaming stuff. I'm actually pondering to now upgrade myself as well, get myself a new rig.
Nice.
I mean, my machine I'm on so far is from 2014, so it's time to, I think, catch
Time
up.
for a change.
Time for a change, yeah. And obviously, in terms of VR as well, it's not. I mean, it works, but it's not the best. So it's time to really level up and start investing in some really good equipment. So that's the next plan. In terms of art-wise, still painting. So I've actually moved on to helping a few people painting and digital painting, fundamentals
cool.
and stuff like that. So I've been doing a little bit one-to-ones with people, which has been really useful.
Nice.
Helping them for lockdown as well, because some people are trying to find new skills to learn. So they've asked, some people, if they're willing to spend a little, I'm happy to give them one-to-one tuition. So I've been doing that. So that's a nice little thing on the side I've been trying out. Yeah, it's been going
For a small fee, I hope.
Oh yeah, yes, for a small fee. Yeah, it's just a trial test, nothing official, but something to get going. But yeah, it's been going great. Yeah,
good. That's good to hear, mate. Atlas Fox, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good actually. Not too bad.
Nice. Been keeping busy.
Yeah, just been editing a dissertation, which I've got to do within two months before I go back to uni.
Love a dissertation. Absolutely love a dissertation.
Yeah, just adding more. My professors told me I need to add more of my experience with us with these meets and what we're doing, which is great. I actually did tell her that about what usually happens with the summer weekend, the boat party thing. Actually seemed very excited about it, but I was already sad when it got cancelled.
Yeah, sadly we had to cancel it, didn't we? But, oh well. Well, good to hear from you, buddy. Good to hear from you. Latimer, how are you doing?
Oh,
Yo.
My headset is working. That's fantastic. That's what we like.
Yes.
I am okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing good.
Perfect.
How's your 3 weeks been?
Oh, manic with work, but we won't talk about that. I literally in the last few hours got home from a train outing, so that was fun. So I've been out on a few trains. It's nice to be able to do that again. So yeah, that's basically how I've been spending my time at the moment.
Ah, nice. Very good. I'm like, I know you've been doing the trains thing. I'm still got my boat, and I've just actually started painting the boat. And painting boats is a bloody mission. I'll put it that way.
What, like a full-size boat?
I've got a canal boat. I bought a
Yeah.
canal boat. Yeah,
Not like a miniature, like a...
No, like a. It's
Proper
actually
boat.
it's a wide beam. It's a big one. So that's been very exciting, trying to organise all that stuff. But yeah, I won't bore you with the details. Excellent. That is everyone caught up with, and we've done it in good time, I think. Yeah, we're nearly there, past. I think we will move on to our interview. Today's guest has been listening in and was probably getting a little bit bored. I hope we haven't bored you too much, Fnook.
No, not at all.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and you're coming from Ontario. That's correct.
Yeah.
All the way
Up
from
in
Ontario.
the frozen North Canada. Yep.
How is it there at the moment? Is it cold?
No, it's lovely, and I'm actually I was laughing quite a bit. I'm glad I was muted because I was laughing quite a bit at the disparage of -10. Give me a break.
Honestly,
a summer day is -10 here.
honestly, if it was -10 in the UK, it would be meltdown, wouldn't it? It would just people would, yeah. I don't know. We'd be in the ice age, baby. It would get medieval over here. Yeah. So yeah, please, can you give us a little introduction about yourself? And could you also let us know, we thought a nice little spicy question to start things off. What is the weirdest thing you've ever had to animate?
Oh, okay. This isn't exactly PG, but
That's fine.
the weirdest thing I've ever been asked to animate is a pirate character made of ejaculate.
Wow.
I'm not joking.
Incredible.
What?
Incredible.
Yes. His name was Creamy Pete.
Creamy Pete. Love that.
Yes, did ask for the weirdest.
Story.
It was for an Adult Swim show.
Oh,
big surprise
fantastic.
there.
Yeah. Amazing.
The other strangest thing I've been asked to animate, which we were talking about earlier, was I've been paid by Cartoon Network to animate Fred Flintstone naked.
That's right.
Yeah,
that was for the Go on.
Oh, it was for a Cartoon Network bumper, a station identification bumper.
Yeah.
And yeah, it involved a naked Fred Flintstone, and I was the one that was asked to animate it.
Fantastic. So it's like a dream job, isn't it? Really?
Sure, let's go with that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, so as an animator, how long exactly have you worked as an animator?
I have been in the industry. This is, I believe, my 28th year in the industry.
Wow.
That's why I'm an old gray man.
And throughout that 28 years, did you how was it you discovered the fandom and became part of the fandom? What was was it quite early on?
I originally found the fandom the day I ended up getting home internet, which was back in 1991. So I met up with a few people in the news groups and things like that. Do people even use the news groups anymore?
but I found that and joined the fandom and had quietly been part of the fandom ever since. But I only decided to make the jump and became an actual fursuiter only in 2020. So
Okay.
so I haven't been a fursuiter for very long, but it's been a long road.
Yeah. Awesome. Bav, do you want to jump?
Yeah. So sorry, hey Fnook.
Hey,
yeah. So you mentioned like you've got fursuits. Obviously your character's name's Fnook. So can you tell us like, how did you come up with the name, and tell us about the species? Obviously, we know. Obviously, I know it's a rabbit, but so I guess there is. I know you mentioned before to me it's not quite a rabbit. There's a bit more to it. So yeah. Tell us about your character. How did you?
Okay, well let's start with the name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little known fact that I started my career in animation doing 16-bit sprite animation for video games, computer games, for the Amiga, for the consoles like the Mega Drive and all that. And so of course that was that involved me going over to England. This was 1993, 94. And I was, it was my first time there. I was a young lad. I was 18 at the time. And meeting a lot of lads who did a lot of heavy drinking. And one night I was invited out because I was working at which one was it? I think it was the core team for Virgin and Virgin Interactive, and they asked me to just join them at the pub. And while there, they did a toast, and it involved the typical British nonsense nonsense words. And I can't remember exactly what was said, but the finale of the toast involved the words Fnook, Fnook, Pertaw. And that always stuck in my head. And it meant nothing, obviously. It meant nothing. But I just kept the name. I thought the word Fnook was actually rather amusing, so I used it.
Awesome.
But yeah, as far as the species goes, Fnook is a Flemish giant rabbit. And for those who are familiar with that particular breed, they're absolutely massive. They're basically a bunny the size of a corgi or bigger. But like a medium-sized dog. They're pretty massive.
Incredible.
And but the thing I've always been attracted to them. I thought they were really cool and just these amazing things that you can get. But one thing I've always lived my life by is I try to be far more than what people expect me to be. And that it just fit. Like when you first encounter a Flemish giant rabbit, they're far more than you ever expect them to be. So it completely fit. So yeah, that's the story behind that. Yeah.
So in terms of your work, the stuff you've done, so have you had any, what was your aspirations of becoming an animator? Were there any artists or animators or anything particularly in the media that came to you and drew where you got your aspirations from in terms of, right, I want to be an animator. Like I want to be exactly that. I want to do exactly what this person's doing.
Absolutely. And the easy answer to that is after I watched Don Bluth's Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw the movie in the theaters when it originally premiered. Yes, I'm that old. And after seeing that movie, I thought to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to make that. I want to be able to make that. And and it all started then, and eventually did join up and meet Don Bluth and work with John Pomeroy on Titan AE.
Wow. I was about to, I was going to add like a bonus question on top of that, like in terms of when you reached that level, did you meet your
eventually
up to,
it took several decades, but I I ended up meeting, and it's really funny because John Pomeroy is one of the famous Bluth animators. He's a really nice guy. We would talk to each other every now and again.
In terms of like, for example, Don Bluth, when you met him, was he how you envisaged him, or was he easygoing? Was he a bit like in terms of as an animator?
He comes from a different era of animation. So they kind of do get when working with the really old school original people, they tend to be pretty set in how the process goes. And of course the process has evolved over the years. And sometimes they only see it one path to the direction, one way, when there's multiple paths to that. So sometimes I won't say anything negative about him, but sometimes they don't see the big picture. They just they're laser focused on one particular path to the destination, and that's the only way, according to them, to do it. So, but I mean, no, they're wonderful. They're wonderful to work with. They're always fountains of information to learn from. Like, even though I've been in the industry for nearly 30 years, there's still things I'm learning. And these guys and girls are all, they're the original. So there's so few of us left who still work in the industry. So to get any opportunity to learn from somebody who's been in the industry even longer than I have, then that's a golden opportunity. So yeah, but that's how I got started, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting talking about processes and stuff, and obviously animation has evolved so much over, and you must have seen the growth of it, the technology changed so much.
Because even though I started my career doing digital stuff, doing pixel animation for sprites, my main drive, like that was just the first gig that I got. But my main gig is hand-drawn paper and pencil animation. And so I was there. I'm pretty much part of the final generation of people who do paper and pencil, like physical paper and pencil animation professionally, like in Western culture anyway. But I've been through the change, the change over, the switch over from classical paper and pencil stuff to digital. So I've been through it all. I even do 3D now too.
Oh, awesome! It must have been incredible to. I mean, if your original art form is with pen and paper or pencil and paper, and then for you to work with a technology that, like you say, with the pixel stuff you did, not being able to take your pen and paper stuff and put it into a digital world, and being able to do that now, it must just blow your mind, really, in terms of the part of my job was what's called working with photostats. So whenever we had to do a mixed media production, where it's either hand-drawn animation over top of live action, or hand-drawn animation over top of 3D. Before things got to where they are now, we would have to do something called photostats, where we would originally shoot some footage, either live action or 3D, and then it would be printed out frame by frame onto paper, and then taped to pegs for the animation table. And we would have to flip our drawings for referencing the frame that came from the live action or the 3D, and draw over top of it. Wow.
Physically on paper. So yeah, we would have to, that was the process. And that was the biggest pain in the balls I can ever tell you, because you're usually working.
Would something like that take? Like,
not hours, weeks. We're talking about weeks. So And that's just to do the rough animation. Once the rough animation's done, that's then handed to someone else to do the cleanup.
Yeah.
So that's process
That's
on top of
just
that. Yeah. So now, yeah, it's about as awful as it sounds. But nowadays we have things like Cintiqs, and you can just load in a QuickTime as another layer, and they can just draw it right on top of it as a new layer. So that like completely eliminates the whole photostat stage entirely.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like for Titan AE, Titan AE was a production that Don Bluth was absolutely fixated on rotoscoping. Rotoscoping is the process of taking something that was shot live action and more or less using that as a reference to base your animation off of. In a lot of cases, quite literally tracing what the actor did, but putting it on model, like putting the character on top of whatever the actor was doing, and using the original footage as your animation, right? So that made that job not exactly fun, because like as an animator, you want the action and the performance to be yours, right? Because that's one of the kind of the bummer things about being a classical animator, is that we are actors. We're just not on-screen actors. We're off-screen actors, and our artwork is doing the performance for us, right? So they have the screen presence instead of us. So people, we don't become famous because they know the characters that we animated. We know the scenes that we did, but they don't know us, right? So so we kind of take a bit of a personal pride in when we do a scene. We take pride in that. We want the performance to be ours, right? Whatever's on the screen, they want it. This was my performance.
It's your stamp. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And when you have to do a scene that is rotoscoped, then the performance is not really yours. The drawings are yours, but the performance isn't. So that made that production not the most fun. It was interesting, but not the most fun. It was certainly the most rotoscoping I've ever done in my entire career, but
don't miss it.
Yeah, but I mean, what I was trying to make the point of saying was that because we had to do all of that rotoscoping, if we had have done the film today, it would have been immensely easier, because then we wouldn't have to work with photostats. We would just quite literally sit the Cintiq down, load up the QuickTime of the whatever shot that we're working on, and just trace right on top. Right, it would have made the job so much easier. We would have done our scenes far quicker in about a quarter of the time.
Does that mean there's more content now? Like more content out there? Would those sorts of time limitations restricted the amount of animation that was out generally, or?
There's multi parts to that question. But see, that's one of the reasons why you don't really see classical animation anymore, especially hand-drawn animation. You don't see that anymore because first element to that is that there's not a lot of us left. It's not that we died or anything. It's just we've gone, like, basically work is dried up. Like what used to be designated as the animation, hand-drawn classical feature animation industry is now dominated by CG. It's dominated by 3D films. So you don't really see too many hand-drawn animated films anymore. I think the last big one was Klaus for Netflix. And that was done in Barcelona, which I did. I was offered to work on that film, but that would have required me to actually relocate to Barcelona, and I wasn't really willing to do that. But anyway, that's besides the point. But there is still a lot of, it's still hugely popular, and there's a lot of demand for hand-drawn animation again. But it's not until they look at the budget, what is required to produce, like not just time but money, because you have to. The only people who can do hand drawn classical animation for feature are really old like me. Or they basically have to bring in people from all around the world who are real experts at this sort of thing. So recruitment becomes a major issue. But of course, that's just the recruiting. The wages for these particular very specialized animators are huge.
Yeah.
And then you have to schedule in the time, because it takes probably about 4 or 5 times longer to produce footage in hand-drawn classical animation than it is to do anything digital. So it's a lot of people say they want to do things classical hand-drawn animation, but until they look at the
actual
cost,
reality,
the reality of the costs, the reality of the time, the schedule, they go, oh no, we got to do it digital. The reality kicks in. So that's sorry, go on.
That's fine. Yeah. So, look, in terms of like most of our listeners who are probably not sure how to animate and do animation, for someone that knows nothing about animation, how exactly do you start doing? What's your method of from start to finish in terms of doing an animated piece? Do you have like a set sort of guidelines you follow from the start as you go through?
Well, if you're talking about something modern like digital, I'll usually, because I got myself one of these lovely iPad Pros, and you can start simply from there. There's a lovely pencil test app. Pencil test animation is what you would consider the rough first pass. So there's nothing color or anything like that. A pencil test is just the rough sketchy stage. Excuse me, of the rough sketchy stage of animation. So there's a terrific app for both Android and iOS called Rough Animator, and that thing is fantastic. It works great for just it gives you multiple layers, and you just sketch animation for that. So we usually start out with the like a rough staging stage where you can like lay out your where the character is going to be in the shot, and just do some rough poses, and just nail where they're going to be in the span of time on the timeline, and then just work from there. Some animators do things a bit differently. Like I've worked with a lot of people who are strictly straight ahead animators, where they'll just start with a pose where the character's in the shot, and they'll just blast through it, just doing drawing after drawing in sequence from start to end, and that's called straight ahead animation. So that takes a lot of discipline to keep that under control. Most animators would much prefer to work with a far more structured method, which is what I prefer to do. So I'll set up a bunch of poses first and time them out so that I know exactly where everything falls and the beats of the action, that sort of thing. And then just do what's called breakdown drawings, where those key poses, you start doing some drawings in between those key poses, and then time those out to where those are supposed to land. So then you know where your in-betweens are supposed to land, that sort of thing. But that's the rough basis of the hand-drawn process. But there's also the what people usually refer to as the puppet rigs for digital animation, where you do a so I work at Chorus Entertainment in Elvana for my daytime gig. We just finished up a couple of series, I finished up on 2 different series, and I'm on a third one now that I can't talk about right now because it hasn't been announced. But the last series that I just finished working on was a series for Nickelodeon called Ollie's Pack, and it should be airing right now on Nickelodeon. And I was then when we finished up that production, I went on another production which is still under production, but it has been announced, so I can't actually mention it. It's the 2D animated Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh,
So
wicked.
Wow.
yeah, so I was a character animation or character animator on that series until I got offered being effects director, a hand-drawn special effects director for a new series. So I got taken off of Thomas to work on that. I really enjoy doing. I like taking the opportunity to do hand-drawn effects because it's going back to my original skill set of hand-drawn animation, which is that's the only way to do effects for these shows. So
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
yeah, whenever they ask me to do that, I have to jump on it because they rely on me. I'm the only one in the studio who still does that stuff. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you have all the young artists looking at young animators looking at it, thinking, "Oh my, he's going the traditional route. Oh, I wish I could do that."
Oh, a lot of them just they shake their heads. It's really funny because they look at what I do and they just go, no, I can't do that. But you went to school, you learn this stuff, and they're like, no, we didn't learn this stuff. You serious?
Yeah, because like when you mentioned the two-step, I still remember because I used to when I first started out, I think we discussed this before in terms of the Amiga back in the day. I used to learn animation. I was self-taught teaching myself animation back then, and I'd find a lot of good resources and stuff. And the two-step was one of the ways to understand how to get from one point to the other, and then basically draw the before and after. And then in between, animate it in between, so that way you get exactly. Yep. Yeah. So no, it's great to hear that all these words, these are phrases are coming back, and it's reminding me of the day. So it's fantastic. So clearly, in terms of the industry, like what sort of software and tools does the animation industry use now? Obviously, because I'm sure there are people out there who will probably thinking of going down that route, and obviously, I guess knowing specific software or specific tools. I mean, in terms of, because I assume you probably assume the software and stuff you use right now, you probably use it for personal work as well as professional. But is there anything in between that that industries always look for? So we need an animator that knows X, software X, Y, Z, and this techniques. And
absolutely. As far as classical 2D animation goes, absolutely a must learn Toon Boom Harmony. Harmony. That is what we were using right now in production. It used to be Macromedia Flash, but that's gone now. Nobody uses Flash anymore. So Toon Boom Harmony is the new standard. So that is the one for sure. If you want to get into storyboarding, Storyboard Pro, which is also made by Toon Boom. But as far as I just saw that there's a pencil test clip that just came up on the feed there. I did that in Toon Boom Harmony. So just so everybody knows, that pinata animation's all done in hand-drawn in Toon Boom Harmony. But as far as 3D goes, Maya is the standard, but Blender is the close second. So I've worked in both. I haven't worked professionally in Blender. I've only been using Blender on personal projects. I've been converting my own models over to objects for VR for personal use. So, but I've been using Blender to do that. But in production, we've always been using Maya for shows. But yes, for sure, if you're going to go down the route of 2D, Toon Boom Harmony and Storyboard Pro are the two main things. And as I mentioned earlier, for just personal projects, if you just want to just dabble in hand-drawn animation, I personally like Rough Animator for the mobile platforms.
In terms of your work, has there been any particular cartoon character that you've animated that you've Thomas the Tank Engine is classic. I'm just but I was looking through some of your portfolio earlier, and I was like, Tigger, man, you've animated Tigger, which is just
I worked for Disney on multiple projects, but one of my favorites was the Tigger movie, which was a direct-to-DVD sequel. Yeah,
incredible. I mean, Is that, yeah, I was gonna, my question was gonna be, who was your favorite character that you've animated? But yeah, but is that Tigger, would you say it was?
If you're talking famous characters,
Yeah.
Yeah, Tigger and Rabbit were both my favorites because
Awesome.
Rabbit's
Rabbit.
just an asshole, and he's just an adorable asshole. So I mean, like
I'm starting to become like
classic
him.
character.
I'm starting to develop his characteristics, or like just like if someone comes around, no, honey, no, then you can't stay. No, leave. It's like,
well, I mean, Rabbit's eyebrows are on point, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But
yeah,
as far as characters that I really enjoyed the most was back when I made my own series. My own series went to air in 2006, and it was called My Friend Rabbit.
Yeah.
And it aired in North America. It aired on Cubo, which was a cable network in the US, and Teletoon in Canada. And I believe it aired on CBeebies in the UK.
Oh, wicked. Yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken. We only did one season, but that was my most creatively gratifying thing to ever work on, because it was mine from beginning to end. And we were nominated for 7 awards, and we won 4 of them.
Oh,
for the industry, yeah, for children's content, yeah.
Awesome. Does has it always been 2D work that you've focused on, or have you looked into getting into the 3D stuff professionally, or is it just stuff you've dabbled in, or you very much?
Yeah, well, 2D has always been my primary focus. That's where my skills have been in the most demand, for sure. But I have worked in 3D in between projects, like whenever one show ends and another one is about to begin. I'll usually work on a 3D show because they're always happening. I worked on Mike the Knight, Bubble Guppies. These are Nickelodeon shows. What was the other one? Handy Manny. So they're all preschool shows, but Bob the Builder type things. But yeah, I've worked in 3D for sure. Yeah.
Actually, I have a question from someone on Discord. So Looping Coil on Discord asks, how does games animation compare to video animation?
As far as games animation, I've only worked on 16-bit platforms. And that was back in the days when memory limitations were immense. So, we were working with situations where you can't go any higher resolution than 320 by 200, and that's for the entire, that's for the entire view of the thing. So, of course, the animation that you have to work with has to be smaller than that. So usually, the biggest you get is about 15 pixels by 15 pixels, kind of thing. That could be considered a big one. Like I worked on Lemmings 2 and 3, and our I believe it was 8 by 8 that we had to work with for that.
Wow.
And and you had to do
That's
all of your
right.
and that animation had to be well under 2 megabytes for all of it. Like all of the animation for that sprite is supposed to do, it has to be under 2 megabytes.
It just reminded me that I've never played Lemmings 2. I had Lemmings 1 on my Amiga, but like my cousins had Lemmings 2 and they offered me the disc and I didn't take it. I was like, I still haven't finished the first one. I still haven't finished the first one yet. So
Love Lemmings.
I think I need to go back, load up the Amiga 500 and play some.
I've actually been in my Mega Drive collection here at the apartment. I've actually got a copy of the Mega Drive copy.
It's a Mega Drive version. What?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. They must have ported it to various platforms. Okay, but like nothing beats the Amiga. It's the music. It's all about the music. Well, yeah.
I kind of touched upon it earlier with the character thing, but was there any particular animated movies that you worked on that you enjoyed the most?
Oh, without question, Iron Giant. That was a treat from beginning to end to work on. I did that out of house, so I didn't get a chance to actually meet Brad Bird. But I mean, I did 4 scenes and one got cut, unfortunately. But I did 3 scenes that I did ended up in the final film. One of them's actually in the trailer, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that was a treat from beginning to end, because it's just a magical film. And
yeah, it is.
everybody that I worked with was wonderful to work with. I learned a lot, and wonderful characters, great story, criminally underrated film.
Oh, it is.
Anybody who hasn't seen it,
everybody
needs to see The Iron Giant.
It's
for
fantastic film. I remember when I watched it. Obviously, I've seen it a few times, but it's a really it's a great film. Like,
I think it's one of those films that if you've seen it, it becomes a part of your life. It's that. It's
without question.
It's like a good book. It's a good book. It's that sort of storytelling that you don't. Yeah, it's an important film for everyone.
If I still remember, it incorporates a bit of 3D as well, doesn't it? Because the
Giant is all 3D. Yeah. But everything else is hand drawn.
Yeah, that's I need to watch it again after to remember. It's been a while because like that film, I remember it being on TV, and that's when I watched it. And that's when I first came across it. Because
it was the one that aired on TV was probably the terrible pan and scan 4:3 crop.
Yeah, it probably yeah.
I've got one the original DVD release of that. It was a 2-sided disc.
Right.
And one side is, of course, the theatrical 16:9 aspect ratio. But out of just gross curiosity, I flipped it over to the 4:3 pan and scan. So that's where they crop the movie to fit on a 4:3 at the standard depth television. And it is the worst pan and scan cut I've ever seen.
I need to realize it's been cropped out. Like, well, that's a bit.
It's so bad. It's so badly cropped that I kind of think that they left it to some kind of software engine to make the decisions than an actual human being. It's that bad. Yeah.
Oh my God. So, in terms of your line of work, has there been anything that still challenges you till this day, in a good way? That is, like.
Yeah, I am not a background person. I'm a character animator. I've focused on characters my entire career. So I'm character designer, storyboard artist. So that occasionally when I do storyboards, I'm asked to sketch a layout or something like that to establish a shot. And I'm completely naff at doing backgrounds. I can handle perspective and everything, but it's just I just don't have the patience for it, and that's something that I'm almost continually asked to do, and I can't be bothered. I just don't have the patience. Just don't have the patience for backgrounds. It's really funny.
Well, I was expecting you to say, it's got to be the hands, because I know a lot of people that draw hands. Obviously, drawing the hands for some people is difficult, but can you imagine animating the hands? That's just taking it to a whole new level of like.
On the contrary, hands are actually one of my favorite things.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I really enjoy drawing hands. I don't know why. I just do. I enjoy the expression of them and the complexity of them. I enjoy the challenge of them. But I think that's originally stemmed from. Because I worked on Prince of Egypt, so that film was all about anatomy, human anatomy, because there's pretty much nobody's got their shirt on in that film. So all the human anatomy had to be on point for the entire film. So to work on that, I really had my nuts kicked to be
completely accurate,
on point accurate with my anatomy. So I had to brush up on all of that, and when getting better at doing anatomy drawing, what I would do is I would take the sports section of the daily newspaper, and I just go to every photo, or because they usually have these really large print and full body shots of the athletes during like baseball games and stuff like that, like boxing. And I would take a ballpoint pen and I would draw the musculature over top of the fully clothed model or the fully clothed photo in the newspaper. And I just photo by photo, I just draw the anatomy accurately, and that just really tuned in my anatomy skills. And part of that, I really enjoyed the tennis photos, because that usually had really detailed close-ups of the tennis players' hands.
Yeah.
And that's where, because they were usually twisted in a very interesting action strained, position. So that, it just made interesting shapes. So that's it kind of snagged my interest. And since then, I just became a huge advocate of drawing hands. And it's really funny because I see a lot of young artists, they will deliberately hide, they'll put the characters' hands behind their back. They'll deliberately hide.
Hands in the pockets, hands in the pockets,
because they don't want to draw the hands.
I notice it every time.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Like, normally when I see art, that's the first thing I look out for. It's like, is a hand behind their backs or is it in their pockets? All right, I know they're going to struggle.
It usually is, yeah.
Or feet hidden behind a wall or some bushes or some rock or something. Yep. Yeah. Perfect way to disguise it. Just
yeah, it's a common cheat.
Yeah.
With your sort of personal art that you do, in particular your furry art, is there anyone in particular you've collaborated with? And would you suggest it as a way of developing your animation style or your art style, collaborating with other artists? Is it something that's helped you throughout your career, or is it something that you've tried to focus on your individual skills? And
well, to be honest, that's only happened a handful of times for me. I'm fairly quiet online. I'm not really one of those people that are really out there and really self-promoting, because doing the furry stuff online is not my first gig. My first gig is
animation
in actual production in a studio, right? So I've only been approached really just a handful of times. So I would say I'm probably not the best person to ask for that.
Fair enough.
But I mean, it's been, to answer the question, yes, it's been a positive experience. I just haven't had a lot of it, really.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there, I wanted to touch upon, obviously you just said you just got your fursuit made, and we were talking a little bit before this about that. And what you said, what date was it you got your fursuit exactly? Was it?
Yes, I finally became a fursuiter 2 days before global lockdown. So I finally, after being in the fandom since 1991, finally decided to take the plunge and become a fursuiter. Finally. And and then COVID happened, and I was supposed to premiere Fnook, the fursuit, at Fernal Equinox in 2020 in Toronto, Ontario, which was going to happen just at the end of March. And 2 days after I got my fursuit, global lockdown, and that was the first furry convention to be canceled, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I still have not done public fursuiting yet.
Wow.
But
he's gorgeous, by the way. I've
thank you very much.
He is. He's a gorgeous suit.
Appropriate, But there is a
caveat.
There's a caveat to that, is that was what drove me to start up my TikTok. So not being able to public fursuit or show him off publicly, I figured, what, TikToks is a way. It's a popular platform. It's cringe when a lot of people think about it, but it is a way to do something in a fursuit. And when I originally checked it out, I was just blown away at the number of furries that are actually on the platform.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought, geez, I can do that. I got a brand new fursuit, and that's a way to show it off. So. And as of today, I just hit 20K followers on TikTok.
Amazing.
So,
Congrats.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you very much.
I loved you did. There was a piece about some of your animation over the top as well of your live action in fursuit, which I loved. I was just like,
Yeah,
to see
that's
that
fun.
creativity.
I've done a couple.
Yeah.
I've done one where it went from a rigged 2D character model that I did in Toon Boom Harmony. It character that just kind of fist bumps the shot or fist bumps the camera, and as it pulls away, it's me in fursuit. So it's
good.
fun transition for that. The other one, I did another one where it's exactly more or less the same thing but reversed. And I approach the camera in fursuit and I fist bump the camera. And when I pull away, it's hand-drawn classical animation that I did on my iPad in Rough Animator. So
yeah, it's super
both
awesome.
are extremely fun.
What is your TikTok account, just so people, if anyone wants to jump in and follow you?
It's at Old School Animator, which is the same as one of my Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
They got a link. I can paste that. Oh, actually, have we shown your suit on stream? Have we shown it? We have. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I did. I was looking at the images that were coming out.
I can flash it up again. There you go.
Yeah. Let's take another look at it. Let's take another butchers up there at Fnook.
The biggest comment I get is that when I do a face reveal, people say it's like a copy paste kind of thing because I'm a long-haired gray long-haired dude, and the dangling ears are like a duplicate of my hair. So.
You could, it's like two locks running off your head. Oh. But yeah, he's basically a copy of me. I actually do wear the leather wristbands and a bandana.
Oh, yeah, I love his look with the bandana. I think the bandana is really cool, really cool. And that's that Amiga style, Mega Drive art style that you have. I think it's just
it harkens back to that, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. I love it. It resonates with me big time. So yeah. Well done.
Very 90s feel.
Yeah, big time. I love it. I'm all about that. I think you definitely should do some more of those game cover style works. I love that.
Oh, you did see that, did you?
Yeah.
I did a kind of a spoof. It's actually located in my my personal Mega Drive collection, but there's a plant in my Mega Drive collection that is a custom cover. It's a copy of Sly Cooper.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But it's actually a copy of Sonic 2. But I redid the cover and the cartridge to look like it's a copy of a Sly Cooper game for the Mega Drive.
Honestly,
it's in there just to make whenever somebody comes by and visits and they want to see the collection. It's in there, and I wait for the moment that they see it. Yeah, and they wait a minute. Wait, what? Wait.
You could do that with a lot of big time. You could do that with a lot of the new games as well that come out. You could do that stuff. It'd be so awesome to see. That I love it because it's I mean the covers of games used to be why you would buy the game, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be the graphics.
That was the funny thing. Like I've had other people who've specifically took a look at it and they just said, you know what, it's obviously fake because the art's too good.
Yeah.
Because anybody who knows game covers from back in that day, they weren't the best. They weren't fantastic.
I think that the game covers before the Mega Drive era were amazing. Like most were like almost like really classical painted pieces. Like which were phenomenal.
I did on my art Twitter. I did an appreciation tweet of Amiga box art that just covers that I thought were just fantastic and beautiful hand drawn Frazettas and stuff.
The first thing that came to my mind was like Boris Vagello. Vallejo. That's it. Yeah, there we go. His and Frazetta, like those were like back then. Like when you see covers like that, like Barbarian 2, and you think, "Wow, okay, it's gonna look like that." And you put it in the game, you play it, and you look at it. Well, it's nothing like that, but still, even though cool. It's still bloody cool. Yeah, it's because I have it on your shelf. Like, no, I got this game. It's really amazing. Oh. But nowadays it's not the case now. It's all just it's changed. I mean, it's nice to see the era, like the progression of era of artwork from back then, and it's nice to see some games are now bringing that kind of style back into more recent artwork, which is great to see that. So people are taking inspiration from the past and applying it to today's stuff. It's really great to see. Yeah, the inspiration is phenomenal.
How do you feel about sort of the animation styles of today? Is there any sort of particular recent projects or films or TV shows that you've seen that have made you go, "Oh, that's fucking cool"? You know, is there something in particular that?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that I've been seeing done for YouTube, that was done by Knights of the Light Table. They usually did music videos for Ninja Sex Party. I have to give them a plug because most of them are actually friends of mine. So, I have to plug them because they're doing some fantastic work. At one of the recent Ninja Sex Party videos that they've done, I thought, wow, that's unbelievably cool. I can't remember the track. Unfortunately, it's escaping me at the moment. But it's the one that involves a mafia and like these glowy space wolves that attack.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that is really cool, that video.
I can't remember the name of the track. It's escaping me at the moment. But that's absolutely beautiful because it's all done in a very synthwave style, and it's just it's 90s beauty. It's, everything about it is just absolutely beautiful. So that's one of my favorites that's recently done. But I mean, in general, when it comes to modern animation, it's everything is pristine and clear, because that's one of the things that because I when I started my career, home entertainment was standard definition. So the highest resolution it got was 720 by 480. So not including overscan, but I won't get into that. So the transition from standard def to HD has almost kind of been a nightmare for 2D animation, especially for television, because the standard definition, we could get away with a lot more visual mistakes on a frame by frame basis. Because just the definition wasn't there. Excuse me. So, you could freeze frame it on a shot, and you wouldn't see the animation mistakes because just the resolution wasn't there. But now, with full HD and especially Ultra HD, a color pop or a bad in between stands out like a sore thumb, and it might as well be a blank frame. It's so obvious, because that's stuff that we, little tiny mistakes that creep in during a busy production schedule become pretty major obstacles. So we quite literally have to go frame by frame on a production and remove mistakes that we find.
I guess is it like a remastering? Essentially, I guess. Have you ever
more like a pre-master, more like a pre-mastering, because everything that we do, like I said, we're very busy production schedules, so we're usually cranking through the footage. When I was working on Thomas the Tank Engine, it was quite regular for me to go to an 8-hour day's worth of work producing footage for a scene. On average, I'd produce about 400 frames of animation a day.
Crikey.
That's for a TV series, and that's just one animator. That's just me. That's usually for stuff that's one or two characters in the shot. But when we're with shows that involve toys and things like that, we're talking about there's like a character count per shot is about 6 or 7 characters in the shot. So it's a hell of a lot of work, and that's a huge margin of error per shot, because when you're minding all of the animation for all the characters in the shot, it's easy for you to miss something. So we quite often have to go frame by frame and find all the tiny little errors and fix them before they go to edit.
God.
Yeah, that's the biggest misconception that I find when talking to anybody about especially 2D animation. They just think, oh, you just do it on computers and it's click, 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 done, right? No, no, and it's like weeks and months to produce, to produce any kind of footage.
I think I do like seeing the imperfections of like older cartoons where you see sometimes you get to see it like a split second of a frame which has been like uncolored, like it's been colored but colored incorrectly, like there's a slight change of hue because I think someone's forgotten to fill that color in with the right color. Still, that's fine. I think that those imperfections just makes it more worthwhile to enjoy.
Well, exactly. That's something that you'll see in my personal work. Unfortunately, I can't upload a lot of the stuff that I have done professionally because that's all under non-disclosure or owned by another. I don't own it, so I can't post it. So, but what you will see that I do post when it is my own personal work, I absolutely love rough animation, like rough, like not cleaned, perfect lines and things like that. Before it goes to the cleanup process, I think that is the most interesting hand-drawn animation to look at. So it's considered tight, rough animation. And so you'll see that in just about everything that I post online. It'll have that sketchy line work to it because I think that's the most visually interesting.
I just missed those old animations. I was watching Masters of the Universe, the Revelations, which is the new reboot series by Netflix, and obviously I'm glad they've kept the kind of similar like style and look and feel of the original, because the original had like rotoscoping kind of animation effects going on, but still it still holds up when you still watch it. I mean, even though it's got repetitive animation, but still it's great. Like even with Brave Star, Filmations did a great job on those sort of things. But like like
visually, one of my favorites is Disney's Aristocats, which was done using the old because they would take they actually for that film they had eliminated the cleanup process. So they tasked the animators. So what we're going to do for this film is that all of the animators will tighten up their drawings themselves to the point where it's as clean as it's going to go before they have to put down a new piece of paper and do nice, perfect, clean lines for it. So that's considered tight, rough. So what they would do is they would take those drawings and send them to a like a photocopier type of process where they would transfer the paper drawing onto a sheet of clear acetate. So that it eliminated the cleanup process. So then they would just paint the original rough animators drawings. So that's why like when you see the film Aristocats, you'll see that like it's very the line is alive and boiling it's not to the point where it's like pulsating, but I mean like to the point where you can see a lot of the construction lines that the animator put in there and what the photocopier actually preserved on the acetate. So, but I mean it gives you that really hand-hewed look kind of thing. It's the best way I could articulate that. But I mean, it gives you the real living. It looks like this is really an artist's work kind of thing. Not pre-processed kind of thing.
I don't know if any of the viewers listening or Annie or anyone else has watched like the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I actually, like during lockdown, I went through like a binge to watching all the classic Disney films. And one thing I've never watched properly was Snow White or Cinderella. I used to watch them briefly because my cousins would have like on VHS playing on screen and stuff. But I wouldn't sit down and watch it. I'd be like, yeah, fine, whatever. But I watched it properly and like Snow White was made in the 70s, was it? No, not 70s. Sorry, earlier than that.
It's very old made film. In the 50s.
And the quality, you should see Annie, have you watched it? Have you watched Snow White?
I have, well, not recently, but as a child.
If you watch it again properly, you see like the amount of work that's gone into it. It's like insane. Like it looked like still, if you watch it now, it still holds up till this day. Like, the amount of like fluidity of the animation.
This is it. This is the beauty of those films they do. And Aristocats I know exactly that effect I was talking about. And I know when you've spoken about it, I can almost picture, the piano scene and just like way people's it's a beautiful film. It is a beautiful
no word
film,
of a lie. I actually had a coworker ask, because the production company I work for is Nelvana, And the one feature film that Nelvana is known for is called Rock and Rule, which is pretty. It's a pretty cult film, a pretty cult animated film. It's all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll with anthro characters. Like some people in the furry industry or furry fandom may know this film, but it came out in the 70s, right? Came out in, I believe, 1976, I believe. I, no word of a lie, had a coworker who, recently found out that I, started my career doing hand-drawn classical animation. And no irony or anything behind this. He turned to me and he says, "Did you work on Rock and Rule?" I was 2 when that movie came out. I was 2 years old. How old do you think I am?
Love it. Oh dear. Well, I think we'll wrap things up. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today, and just to for anyone interested in checking out your work, we will post up links on our social media channels and stuff. I think we wanted to finish up by asking if there's someone that's been listening today or who's a fan who's studying animation and wanting to get into the industry, what's the best piece of advice you give them from starting out?
Starting out, do life drawing. Learn to draw human anatomy or anatomy in general, either animal anatomy, human anatomy, life drawing, because that is the foundation skill set for doing anything, even if it's hand-drawn animation or 3D modeling or just doing character poses. Having a strong knowledge of anatomy and understanding of anatomy and musculature is foundation skills you can, once you have a strong grasp of that, you can apply it in every direction. Gestural, because anatomy also, or life drawing involves gestural drawing, which is a strong element for doing storyboards. Gestural drawing is also a strong element for doing quick poses for character animation, that sort of thing. But I mean, knowing how to balance form is essential for doing believable performance in 3D. So making a 3D character model look like they're actually standing there properly, it's all based off of anatomy. So life drawing skills are essential. That's the essential place to start. So no more hiding hands behind backs and things like that. Learn to draw hands and feet.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I think. Yeah, if you ever show Fnook work, that's the first few things that we check in for. Hands, if they're in the pockets or behind the back. Yeah, that's it.
Start again.
Better get the red pen out. Mark it as X. There you go.
Well, Fnook,
that's where to start for sure.
Nice one. Well, thank you so much for coming along today and having a chat with us. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
I want to see if you can. Do you recognize this song?
Oh yes. Lemmings 1 intro.
Yep.
From the Amiga specifically.
Yep. Oh, see.
Love it.
It's worth mentioning I wasn't involved with the first Lemmings. I started on Lemmings 2. So yeah. But I do know where that comes from. Yeah.
Love it. Right. Well, thank you so much again for coming along today. Hope are you going to come make your way over to London anytime soon, or get yourself across the pond?
Well, I'm not sure about anytime soon, but I was listening in to everybody talking about their VR chat get together.
Yeah,
I may join in on that.
Yeah, do come along tonight. Bab will get you the link to it. It's amazing. We made this a VR world. It's like it's really.
I think Fnook's been there. He's been there. He's
nice.
Oh, it's that world. Okay, so I know the hangout. Yes, I've been there.
I'll send you a link to that when we make it. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
So you may see me pop in there.
Fantastic. Nice one. All right. Well,
What time is that supposed to be happening?
So we will be starting that at 9 p.m. So you got some time to
our time to
get
about
into
an hour and a
get into
half.
suit and get into VR at the same time. Both.
Don't know if that's going to happen.
Right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the LondonFurs meet. That wraps up our live session. Like I said, I'm going to be jumping into voice free if anyone wants to have a quick catch up in regards to any of the meet stuff we spoke about earlier. And we'll be posting all the rules, etc., on our schedule. Big love. Thank you for tuning in. Just to mention as well, we will be continuing doing the live sessions. They may be coming to the physical meets, as well as we're looking to do them in between our meets. So keep an eye out. And yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in, and have a lovely Saturday. See you in a bit.